Well, hello and good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Oberl. I am the Training and Development Manager for CAD and Community Management. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight to learn all about the Vantaca software that we are about to launch, start of 2025. We're joined tonight by Megan Wojtek. She is the Director of Community Engagement for Vantaca, and she's going to lead us through some demonstrations and show us all the advantages and features that your homeowners and you as board members will be able to take advantage of here very soon. As you'll note, all of the microphones have been muted tonight, so please take advantage of the chat or the Q&A section. We will be monitoring that and hopefully answer some of those questions at the end of the presentation, or we'll follow up with you individually afterwards through your manager. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Megan. Megan, it's all yours.
Thank you. And thank you all so much for joining. For those of you that may have joined us a few weeks ago now, a couple of weeks ago, time flies. We had some technical difficulties pop up literally moments before we started. So thank you for your patience during that. And I think you'll have a much cleaner demo experience today. So I'm actually really excited to have another opportunity to do this with you all. Before I share my screen and dive in, I want to share a little bit of background on how Cadden came to even meet Vantaca and talk to us and choose them as their provider. The team at Cadden did a very, very in-depth look at softwares all across the industry, and they tested us out for about 6 months, 7 months at the tail end of last year with a handful of associations. Some of you may actually live in those associations, so thank you for being our test subjects for the end of 2023. I'm grateful that that test actually went very well, and they chose to move forward with us. And they have been working very hard throughout 2024 to ensure that the transition at the beginning of 2025 goes as smooth as possible. So you all will see the benefits of Vantaca starting in January, and you will probably start to get some notifications a couple of weeks after their go live period, where your homeowners and yourselves will start registering. So I'll show you a little bit about that tonight. You know, a couple of the main reasons why Cadden chose Vantaca is because it has really great communication tools and a lot of automation built into it. So I'm going to point out some of the things and tools that they'll be using internally. Doesn't really have a huge effect on you guys, but it is kind of neat to see the area that they work in, and you know, some of the responses that you'll get that will make it a better experience all the way around. Everybody wants a quicker response to things, so I think you'll definitely see that happening because of the technology that we built. So now that I've talked your ear off for a good 4 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can actually see. All right, you are officially looking at Vantaca. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you. I think I got feedback last time that it was kind of tiny. I can't make it too big. That's probably a good size, because like it gets really tiny on my size, on my side of things. Okay, so what you are looking at right now is actually what the Cadden team will be seeing internally when they're using Vantaca. So right now, this has nothing to do with you as a board member or as a homeowner, but it is kind of cool to see their tools. So the couple of things that I mentioned, why Cadden moved forward with us, the first thing are the communication tools. So Vantaca is actually acting very similar to an Outlook or a Gmail email type platform. So anytime people are generating items from within Vantaca and you are being communicated with as board members, or your vendors are being communicated with, or your homeowners are being communicated with, when someone responds to those messages, your community manager and your accounting team, anybody who works at Cadden is going to be able to track those items right within Vantaca. So they're getting pretty much immediate responses within the platform when you all respond to something, which is really cool. So just saving them time from having to move between an email platform and the software that they work in. And then it also becomes a system of truth for everyone, for Cadden, for you as an association. Everything is going to live in one spot. The second piece of Vantaca is this concept that we call action items. And this is a huge undertaking for a lot of management companies and really what Cadden has been working hard on over the past year. So action items are really just configurable workflow. Now, what the heck is a workflow in community management? A great example for you is an architectural request. If a homeowner submits an architectural request on the portal, it will push into Vantaca automatically. A notification will go out from Cadden over to the homeowner, letting them know they received it. And then maybe the manager reviews it and pushes it over to you as a board. You all approve it. It pushes back to Cadden. You understand exactly what I'm talking about. But all of those are different touch points that in other softwares are usually manual touch points that people have to remember. And Vantaca automates a lot of that functionality and makes the experience all the way around much more simplified for you as boards, for your homeowners, and even for the Cadden team. So that's really what is happening here. And what's cool about these action items that Cadden is seeing is this is just a task list for your manager. So you can see here, I'm a manager in my little fake database, and I've got an access request that I need to work on. I've got an architectural request. And if I keep scrolling, I've got a ton of different things that I need to do across my portfolio. Some other things that the Cadden team will be able to do, and this might actually even be a first for Jeff seeing this, which is really exciting. We've recently implemented some AI tools that they will be able to use internally. So you guys know if I'm a manager and I manage, 10 associations, that's a lot of information for me to remember, a lot of intricacies with 10 different properties. So I'd like to introduce you to Scout. Scout is actually our AI research tool, and it's a really great tool internally for that Cadden team. So they can choose the association that maybe they're getting a question on. I'm going to pick my friend Dunder Mifflin Acres. Maybe you have a clubhouse and someone's getting a question on the clubhouse. Can you tell me how to rent my clubhouse for Dunder Mifflin Acres? Rather than me having to go through and actually grab all the documentation, read through it, get the details on the clubhouse, I can say, tell me about the clubhouse reservation. I don't know, something like that. And we'll see what kind of answer it spits back out at us. But right now it's thinking. And if I'm on a homeowner account, this is actually telling me all of the information that I need to know on reserving the clubhouse. So I can give that information right back to the person that's calling me in a really simple way. Now, I asked a broad question, so it gave me a broad answer, but you can ask really specific things of it. And it's a lot of, it's just a really helpful resource for people to get your homeowners quick answers, which is awesome. So that is new, and it will actually push out right at the time that Cadden goes live inside Vantaca. So even they haven't had an opportunity to play with it. So I'm excited to be able to show it today. That's just a little bit about what the Cadden team is doing inside Vantaca, but let's actually talk about how this affects you as board members and how it affects you as homeowners. So what I am going to do, I am going to log in to the portal as my friend Dwight. One of the cool things that we do, it's not necessarily shown in here, but your homeowners and yourselves, because you're homeowners, obviously, you will have a single sign-on to your portal. So if you own multiple units, either in one association that CADN manages or multiple associations that CADN happens to manage, you will just have a singular experience across all of those units. So you should have some time savings when you are logging in to do any type of, I don't know, homeowner item on the portal. But you are officially looking at the portal now. You will notice that we've got a configured portal here. I live in Dunder Mifflin Association, but you will probably notice either the CADN Connect logo or, depending on your association's logo. So that really is dependent on your association's needs. Now, I'm logged in as Dwight. Dwight happens to be a homeowner and board member. So he looks slightly different than a typical homeowner who is not a board member. He's got some extra fun stuff that he can do. But let's just start here on this dashboard that you see when you log in. First thing in this little upper left-hand corner is the balance detail. You know, we've always got to make sure that that money is being collected so you can all pay the bills for the association. So seeing that balance right away is really important. They'll also have the opportunity to make a payment from right here. We'll dig into this in just a second, but homeowners also have the ability to print their own statements with a coupon, print transaction history, view all of their account history, all from this area. Moving over to this right-hand side, this board actions area, this is what you all will really care about. What is really cool about the action items that I talked about and the way that Vantaca is configured is you all can be as involved in these processes or workflows as you want or need to be, or as CADN allows you to be, depending on your association needs. So what these board actions are either real-time reports, or those numbers are showing something that I need to do for my association. So in this case, I've got 6 ACC requests. Now in my database, I call them ACCs. You may call them ARCs. I've seen DRC. They are called a lot of different things all across the country, but those can actually be configured for your association specifically. And I've just got 6 that I need to do something with here. I've got 2 work orders that I need to look at, nothing with inspections. I've got 44 violations that I need to check out. And then you can see this list just keeps going on: collections, invoices, etc. So this is just breaking down all of those different categories in different reporting styles or things that I need to do. Now, moving back over to this left-hand side is recent requests. Now, again, this is more specific to my unit. So these are all of my recent requests. So I've got a lot of architecturals. I wanted to paint my house pink. I wanted a 6-foot fence. Now I need a basketball goal. I've got a lot going on with my unit. I'm doing a lot of updates. But all of that information is going to be held here. And these are just the recent ones. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. You'll see the complete history of your own unit. Recent reservations, that is if you all have clubhouses or pickleball courts or anything along those lines, you will have the opportunity to reserve right within Vantaca. I skipped going back over to the right-hand side. We have found as Vantaca that the biggest opportunity for approvals outside of invoices is the architectural area. So we have actually broken that out and we've put the architectural voting right on this dashboard. So I can actually see any of the architecturals that need my attention and I can actually vote on those from right here. So once I click on that, it's pulling up that architectural request. I can see the complete history. I've got a lot of it. This is where that communication comes into play. So I can see when these items were given to the management company. I can see who has voted. All of that information is living right here within Vantaca. Now, what you can do is hit that little vote button. You can see who all has voted at that point in time. It looks like I actually did decline this one already. You can go in and edit your vote if you need to, and it is actually going to calculate your votes for you. I know sometimes you need, I don't know, maybe 3 of 5 or 5 of 7 or something along those lines. So Vantaca is going to calculate those votes for your association. Now this little button, hopefully you can see it in this lower right-hand corner, is a message button. So if you needed to communicate with each other, maybe I wanted to send a message to the whole committee, I would be able to do that, and I could send that from right here. And that is going to be noted on that specific architectural request. So again, lots of great communication tools and approvals right here. And we'll dive into that a little bit more once we finish this portal space. Now I'm going to scroll down and I'm actually going to go to the one area that I didn't show you, which was recent messages. So I mentioned to you that the communication tools live right within Vantaca. So these recent messages are my homeowner messages. So I want you to think of yourselves as just an individual homeowner at that point in time. So these will be for your specific unit at that point in time. So that's my dashboard, just quick snapshots of everything. And again, these are going to be configured per association. So if you live in an association where reservations are not a thing or architecturals are not a thing, those will be turned off to avoid confusion for your homeowners when they log in. Last thing on this dashboard that I failed to touch on is this little area right here. You can see click here for upcoming notices, or we just kind of made something up to show it. Cadden has the ability to put custom messaging on these portals. So if you did need to say something like click here for whatever it is, they'll be able to build that right into these portals. Okay, lots of talking. You guys are being very patient, which is great. Moving over to this left-hand side, I'm just going to work my way down this menu. I'm going to go to the payment area first. And all that this is showing me is my specific ledger. Mine's kind of boring. I've only got one recent item, which is my golf club fees for $300. But if I hit this all account history, that is going to give me my entire transaction history on my account. So I'm able to see everything from right here. I can also hit that statement option, and it will allow me the opportunity to download a statement with a coupon, with future charges, a charge summary, etc. So you can get kind of creative with the way those statements are downloaded. Really helpful for the Cadden team as well, because a lot of people, you guys probably know, will call in if they lost a statement and they'll request a copy. So pushing people to this portal for utilization will be helpful. Back to payments, you will notice this make a payment button. Your make a payment is going to be very similar. I'm not even going to drill into it because mine is going to look different than yours. Your make a payment area is going to look similar to what your homeowners are used to right now. So you have that great integration with Alliance Association Bank. That is going to be the same, and you'll be able to make those payments in a similar way. What is cool about this, it's a single sign-on. So as a homeowner, you will not have to worry about logging in again to make your payment on the Alliance site. It will be that single sign-on experience. Now, moving down the list, we have requests. So you can see here, requests are very open-ended here. I've got general, I've got architectural or ARC, and then I've also got this reservation request. I'm going to show you general first. So you all remember, I talked about that idea of action items. So action items are just workflow. Here's what's cool about general request. You can see we've got some samples in here, like a billing question, a fee waiver request, a service or a maintenance request. You can choose all of these from this drop down menu. These are all just different workflows. So they will have different outcomes for you as a homeowner and for Cadden as the management company. Here's where I like the streamlining of the system and where it really helps both parties involved. A billing question, rather than me as a homeowner just sending a billing question over to the manager because I know the manager's email address and they'll get it to the right person for me, the billing question will actually streamline and go straight over to the accounting team. Now, I don't know if you guys will want to build this in, but a board request could go straight over to you guys as board members and bypass Cadden completely. Fee waiver requests may go right over to accounting. You all understand exactly what I'm saying. But what happens with any of these is I can choose, let's say, service request as an example, and maybe I always use the same things. Maybe I've got a broken sprinkler head that I noticed. I can say, fix the sprinkler by the ninth hole. I don't know if I was golfing this morning. You're in Arizona. I'd always just assume that there's a golf course by the association. And then I can actually add files in here. So if I took a photo of something, I can submit that form. And at that point in time, it is being submitted right over to the Cadden team. Now, here's what happens. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back to where Cadden does their daily work. It is going to land. We'll give it a second to think. It is going to land all the way down at the bottom of my database, but it is going to land in this service request, and it's going to tell whoever receives it that they need to review it. So that's how that information is getting back into Vantaca. And then what's really cool is now I'm back where you all will do your stuff. If I go to board actions and I go to the work order area, there will actually be a history of those items that have been submitted by homeowners or by you as vendors or by Cadden if someone called in instead of using a portal space. So all of that information stays within the Vantaca system. So backtracking a little bit to my requests, when I go back to requests, once it's submitted, it actually pushes me to my own request area as a homeowner. So I can actually see all of the different things that I have done as a homeowner. I've got a pretty active account here. I've got a lot going on. I can drill into anything that I have submitted. So if I want to look at that service request that I just did, I'm able to see that it was received by Cadden. Maybe it's been a couple days and nothing has happened with it. I can actually type a message back to my manager and I could say something like, can you check on this? And I can send that message right from here. And it is showing me that that message was sent. So hopefully you all are following along with me that communication piece is really, really big inside Vantaca. The next thing that I do want to touch on here is, sorry, hitting too many buttons, is this architectural request. Now I saw, this is actually worth stating out loud. We call it an ARC. ACC, DRC, associations call these different things, but they all mean architectural, you're changing something to your unit. Now, again, I've got all of this language that is listed here. This is all configurable for your association. We've gone above and beyond and made it kind of dramatic, but you can choose what type of language you want here. I would say overall, Cadden will probably configure this to be pretty standard across the board to make it easier on themselves. But if you've got something that's super wild for your association, I'm sure it could be added in here. Now, you'll notice the architectural form is here. Sometimes associations do have specific architectural request forms. So you can put it right at the top of the screen here so they can actually submit it through this specific area. There are different areas of work here that are different for each association. So maybe I want to add a new front door, something like that. I can actually choose that and submit the form accordingly. But this works exactly the same as the service request that I just showed you. As soon as I submit this, it is landing in that place that Cadden is working. And then the last thing that I want to touch on with you is the reservation request. So for the reservations, we have two different drop-down menus here. We have a category and then we have an amenity. So the category is going to be kind of the overall theme of the area. So let's use pickleball courts as an example. Let's say that you have 15 pickleball courts or something crazy like that. The category would be pickleball courts, and the amenity would be pickleball court 1, pickleball court 2, and so on. The clubhouse, maybe you have a clubhouse that has 3 rentable rooms. You could have clubhouse room 1, clubhouse room 2, and that would be the amenity. So this is pulling up the day version of the calendar. You can also look at a week or you can look at a timeline. If I keep scrolling down, it is actually showing me the date ranges that I can choose from. And then I would give my event details, name. I could upload any required documentation for the reservation as well. And as soon as I submit that, that is again going to push over to the Cadden team. Now, you guys potentially have fees associated with any of these requests. If you do, it can always push over to Cadden's accounting team where they can automatically post any of those fees, and then the homeowner can actually go and make a payment on it. So all of this becomes a very low touch process for both sides of this reservation. If a reservation is put in here, it can actually be a pending reservation. So it can actually block the time on the calendar until Cadden confirms it. That way you don't have multiple people requesting the clubhouse or a pickleball court for the exact same time. So lots of good stuff with the reservations. And then moving right along, calendar and events. So the calendar itself, again, I'm looking at an agenda view of the calendar. Most people are going to look at the month view. This is controlled by the Cadden team. And what's cool about the calendar inside Vantaca is that it actually can kick off some of those workflows that we talked about. So a great example of that is maybe a mass communication. Maybe Cadden needs to send out I don't know, an email blast letting everybody know that the board meeting is next Friday or something like that. They can actually add something to the calendar that will automate that process. We've also seen bi-monthly or biannually, something like that, maintenance requests. So they can put those items on the calendar and it will be reminders for the Cadden team that things need to be done. So lots of good stuff with the calendar itself. Every once in a while, we have board members who want to add events themselves. We do have that capability in here. I don't know if it's set up in mine. It is. So I can actually double click on that calendar and I can add events myself as a board member. And then again, this is the community calendar. So this is more of the view for you as homeowners and you as board members. And then we also have the amenity calendar listed here. So I'm not looking at anything in particular, but it breaks it down just by calendar. We also have